Okay, let me tell you about my neighbor, Emily Davis. Emily finally achieved her dream, but her own house. Peaceful suburban spot, perfect backyard. The highlight? This gorgeous, brand new pool she just finished building. Sleek, modern, surrounded by a nice wooden deck, great landscaping for privacy. She poured months into planning it, dealing with contractors, getting HOA permits. Yes, there was an HOA, but her pool followed all the rules. It was her sanctuary. First weekend it's done, Emily invites a few close friends over. Warm summer day, laughter, splashing, pure happiness. She was so proud of how it all turned out. As the sun starts setting, someone approaches her backyard gate. Emily excuses herself, goes to see who it is. It's an older woman, perfectly styled hair, floral dress, carrying a big beach tote. Hi there. The woman waves cheerfully. Emily opens the gate a crack. Hello? Can I help you? I'm Karen. The woman gushes, extending a hand. Live next door. Been meaning to introduce myself. Welcome to the neighborhood. Emily shakes her hand. Thanks, Karen. Nice to meet you. Karen's eyes immediately zero in on the pool. Wow, she says, stepping closer. That's some pool. Absolutely gorgeous. The kids must love it. Emily smiles politely. Thanks. Just finished it, excited to finally enjoy it. Karen leans in a bit, tone casual but loaded. You know, my grandkids are visiting for the summer. Been complaining they're bored. I was thinking, they'd just love to come over for a swim sometime. Emily's taken aback. Oh, just met the woman. The pool was her personal project, her private space. Sharing it with strangers she just met? Uncomfortable. I'm really sorry, Karen, Emily says carefully. I built the pool as a private space for myself. I'm sure you understand. It's personal. Karen's smile flickers, but she recovers fast. Oh, I get it. But, you know, good neighbors help each other out. I'd supervise them, of course. Be right here. You wouldn't even notice us. Emily feels that knot in her stomach. Hates confrontation, but has to stand her ground. Really appreciate you asking, Karen, but I think it's best to keep the pool private. Hope that's okay. Karen's cheerful mask cracks. Voice turns cooler. Of course. Just thought I'd ask. My late husband always said good neighbors should be generous. Guess times have changed. Ouch. Guilt trip. Emily stands firm. Thanks for understanding. Nice meeting you. Karen gives a tight smile. You too, Emily. Enjoy your evening. She walks away. Emily sighs with relief. Awkward, but boundaries set. She rejoins her friends, brushes it off. Quirky neighbor, a bit too forward. But over the next few days, strange stuff starts happening. One morning, Emily's having coffee on her deck, sees Karen standing at the edge of her property, just staring at the pool. No wave, nothing. Just staring. Then turns and walks away. Unsettling. Then, the trash incident. Emily finds her recycling bins knocked over, garbage strewn across her driveway. Can't prove it was Karen, but the timing? Suspicious. Emily starts feeling watched, targeted. The final straw? Sunny Saturday morning. Emily's inside, hears splashing and laughing from the backyard. Freezes. Rushes to the window. There they are, Karen and her two grandkids in her pool. Karen's lounging on a deck chair, tote bag beside her, kids playing in the water like they own the place. Emily storms outside. Voice firm, controlled. Karen, what are you doing? Karen looks up, feigning surprise. Oh, Emily. Didn't think you'd mind. Kids were bored. Hot day. Figured it wouldn't hurt. Emily's patience snaps. Karen, I told you before. This is private property. You can't just come in here without permission. You need to leave. Now. Karen's expression hardens. Stands up slowly. You know, she says, voice dripping venom, my late husband always said this property line wasn't correct. Told me this part of the yard, she gestures towards the pool, used to belong to us. If anything, I'm being generous, not making a fuss about you taking what isn't yours. Emily stares, disbelief washing over her. That's absurd. I have the deed. The survey. This is my property. You are trespassing. Leave now, or I call the police. Karen gathers her things, face a mask of indignation. Fine. But this isn't over, Emily. You'll regret being so unneighborly. Mark my words. She grabs the grandkids, leaves. Emily felt a wave of anxiety. This wasn't just awkward anymore. It was serious conflict. In Karen's threat, this was only the beginning of a nightmare. Woke up the next morning, feeling uneasy. Karen's threat, you'll regret being so unneighborly, echoed in my head. Hoped it was just angry words. but gut feeling said otherwise. That afternoon, proof arrived. Certified letter. Urgent stamp. Opened it. Heart pounding. Official notice. Lawsuit filed against me. Karen claiming partial ownership of my backyard, including the pool area. Demanding legal rights to use the space. Accused me of encroaching on her property, violating her supposed easement rights. Read it again. And again. Bizarre. Her entire argument? Her late husband told her the property line was different. No proof, just hearsay. Yet here she was, suing me. Frustrated, determined, I called my lawyer, Jessica Miller, who'd handled my house closing. Explained everything. Jessica listened patiently. "Wow, Emily," she said finally. "That's ambitious, even for a neighbor dispute. Filing a lawsuit based on what her husband supposedly said? Highly unusual, and likely baseless if your survey and deed are clear. Bring everything in." Felt a little better. Spent the next few days gathering documents. Deed, professional survey done before I bought the place, HOA permits for the pool, everything by the book. All clearly showed the pool was 100% on my property. Meanwhile, Karen got bolder. Started lingering near my fence line, just watching. Creepy. Saw her talking to another neighbor once, gesturing towards my pool. Felt like she was trying to turn people against me. Then the petty stuff started again. Garbage cans tipped over. Mail delivered soaked. Found her little yappy dog digging up my flower beds one afternoon. Installed a security camera. Hated doing it. Felt like escalating, but needed protection. Mounted it discreetly, covering the backyard and side gate. 2 weeks after the lawsuit notice, Jessica scheduled mediation. Tried to resolve it without court. Met at a neutral office. Me, Jessica, Karen, and her lawyer, sharp-looking guy, seemed more interested in billing hours than facts. Mediator started, asked for our sides. Karen went first, playing the victim. Not trying to be difficult. Property in my family for decades, late husband always said. Don't want to take anything, just what's fair. Infuriating act. My turn. Presented the documents calmly. Deed, survey, permits. Explained I followed all rules, confirmed boundaries before building. Showed the certified survey, no room for doubt. Karen's lawyer tried arguing the survey might be wrong. Jessica shut that down fast with certified county verification. Karen pulled out this tattered, hand-drawn map, proof, she claimed. Laughable. No scale, no official markings. Jessica pointed out it had zero legal standing. Mediator clearly saw Karen had no case. Encouraged her to drop the lawsuit. Warned her about legal fees if she continued. Karen looked furious, but reluctantly agreed to think about it. Left mediation cautiously optimistic. Maybe she finally got it? Nope. Week later, another notice taped to my door. This one from the HOA, claiming a complaint was filed against me for unauthorized construction the pool. Karen had taken her fight to the HOA, accusing me of building without proper approval. My stomach dropped. I had the approvals. Called Jessica immediately. Don't worry, she reassured me. You have the permits. Their own records show approval. We'll respond formally, but this is just more harassment from Karen. Tried to stay calm, but it was getting harder. Felt like I was under siege in my own home. Constantly on edge. What would Karen do next? One evening, sitting on my deck, staring at the pool, the source of all this drama, I felt this surge of determination. I couldn't let her win. This was my home, my sanctuary. I wouldn't let her bully me out of it. Little did I know, the battle was about to get even uglier. After the failed mediation and Karen's bogus HOA complaint, which Jessica shut down quickly with proof of permits, I thought maybe, just maybe, Karen would finally back off. Wrong again. The cease and desist letter Jessica sent regarding the lawsuit seemed to only make her angrier, more determined. The harassment escalated, but got sneakier. One morning, I found a group of HOA board members, clearly Karen's allies, standing right on my property line, pointing at my house, whispering. When I asked what they were doing, one mumbled something about evaluating the neighborhood before they quickly dispersed. Felt like intimidation. Next day, little orange flags planted along the edges of my yard. HOA logo on them. Confused, irritated, I pulled them out, tossed them. Hours later, email from Karen. Subject, unauthorized removal of HOA property. Accused me of interfering with neighborhood planning, threatened enforcement measures. Replied immediately, CCNG Jessica. Reiterated my property wasn't HOA jurisdiction, didn't recognize her authority, documented harassment, warned against further trespassing. 2 days later, Woke up the landscapers in my front yard, trimming hedges, pulling out plants, replacing them with generic shrubs like everyone else's. HOA work order, signed by Karen. I stormed out furious. "What the hell are you doing?" I yelled. Foreman looked startled. "HOA told us." Called the police. Again. Showed them the deed, Jessica's letter. Police spoke to the landscapers, confirmed they were hired by Karen. Informed me that while the workers couldn't be charged, Karen could face legal consequences. Promised to follow up. Later that day, another email from Karen. Angrier this time. Accused me of causing drama, undermining the community, being uncooperative. Ended with a chillingly vague threat. "If you continue to act against the best interests of this community, there will be consequences." Realized then, Karen wasn't just unreasonable, she was potentially unstable. Her obsession with controlling my property, her willingness to ignore legal boundaries, it was crossing into dangerous territory. Things got worse. Small acts of vandalism. Mailbox knocked over, outsiders spray-painted on it. Trash cans overturned, garbage strewn across the driveway. Couldn't prove it was Karen, but who else could it be? Installed more security cameras, reported everything to the police. No direct evidence linking her, though. Neighbors started acting weird. Some avoided eye contact, crossed the street. Others gave cold looks. Overheard whispers, causing trouble, refusing to cooperate. Karen was successfully poisoning the well, painting me as the villain. Felt incredibly isolated, stressed, but refused to back down. Kept documenting everything, worked closely with Jessica. Knew it was only a matter of time before Karen pushed too far. The tipping point? Saturday morning, working in my backyard. Heard a power drill from the front. Went to investigate. Found workers installing a large sign in my front yard. Read, "Warning, non-compliant property. Proceed with caution." Stunned. The audacity. Demanded they stop. Claimed HOA orders. Called the police. Again. This time, insisted on filing a formal harassment complaint against Karen and the HOA. Officers were sympathetic, took the complaint seriously. Advised considering a restraining order. Jessica agreed. Within days, Karen was served. The situation had reached a boiling point. No longer just an inconvenience, it was a legal battleground. Knew the road ahead was tough, but I was ready. This wasn't just about my rights anymore. It was about stopping an abuse of power that had gone unchecked for too long. Getting the restraining order against Karen felt like a major step, but I knew Karen Kennedy wasn't the type to just quietly accept defeat. Her pride, her ego, her obsession with control, it wouldn't allow it. The HOA notices stopped, the landscapers stayed away, but the quiet felt tense, like waiting for the other shoe to drop. And drop it did. One morning, sipping coffee, watching the news, I heard voices outside. Not angry shouting, just voices. Peered through the blinds. Karen, standing on the sidewalk with two uniformed guys. Not cops, private security guards. HOA logo on their badges. Setting up a portable folding chair and table like a little command post, directly across the street from my house. Walked outside, phone recording. "Karen, what is this?" I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. She turned, that self-satisfied smirk back in place. "Good morning, Emily. This?" The HOA's new compliance observation station. Necessary measure. Ensuring residents uphold community standards. Disbelief washed over me. A surveillance station? Outside my house? That's harassment, Karen. Violates the restraining order. She waved a dismissive hand. "Oh, this isn't about you specifically, Emily. It's for the entire neighborhood. Just ensuring everyone follows the rules. Rules that don't apply to me." I shot back. "You have no jurisdiction. You're doing this purely to intimidate me." Her expression hardened. "Think what you want. But the HOA will uphold standards. With or without your cooperation." Didn't argue further. Recorded the station, the guards, Karen's presence. Went inside. Forwarded the video straight to Jessica. Her response was immediate. Blatant escalation. Clear violation of the restraining order, not to mention further harassment. We filed contempt charges immediately. That afternoon, Jessica filed the motion. Included the video evidence, detailed the history of harassment. The court reviewed it quickly. The next few days were a whirlwind. Court hearing for the contempt charge. Karen tried arguing the observation station wasn't targeted at me, just general community oversight. The judge didn't buy it for a second, especially with the history presented. Found her in contempt of the restraining order. Issued a hefty fine and a stern warning. Any further violations, and she'd be facing jail time. That seemed to finally break through Karen's arrogance. The surveillance station vanished overnight. The neighborhood breathed a collective sigh of relief. Neighbors who'd been hesitant before started openly supporting me, sharing stories, offering help. But the ordeal wasn't truly over until the original lawsuit about the property line was resolved. We had the evidence, the survey, the permits. Karen's case, based on her late husband's hearsay and a hand-drawn map, was laughable. Her lawyer, probably seeing the writing on the wall after the contempt ruling, pushed hard for a settlement. Jessica and I discussed it. Part of me wanted to drag Karen through a full trial, expose everything publicly. But honestly, I was exhausted. I just wanted my peace back. We agreed to settle, but only if Karen formally dropped her baseless lawsuit, acknowledged in writing that my property boundaries were correct and the pool was legal, and agreed to pay a portion of my legal fees. Reluctantly, facing mounting legal bills and zero chance of winning, Karen agreed. Signing that settlement felt like closing a long, ugly chapter. The weeks following the settlement were quiet. Truly quiet this time. Karen became practically invisible. Rumors circulated she was planning to sell, move away. I didn't care anymore. My focus was on healing, rebuilding my sense of security. Slowly, the neighborhood started feeling like home again. The pool, once the source of so much conflict, became my peaceful retreat. Friends came over. We laughed, we swam, we enjoyed the simple things Karen had tried so hard to ruin. One evening, sitting on my deck, watching the sunset paint the sky, I reflected on everything. The stress, the fear, the anger, but also the resilience I found. The support from unexpected places, the strength in standing up for what was right. Karen's bullying hadn't broken me. It had made me stronger, more connected to the community that eventually rallied behind me. It was a hard lesson, but one I wouldn't forget. My sanctuary was safe, and that peace? Priceless. The quiet after the storm felt earned. The lawsuit settled, the restraining order firmly in place. Karen Kennedy finally silenced. It was like the whole neighborhood took a collective deep breath. Emily could finally, truly relax in her own home, enjoy the pool she'd worked so hard for without constantly looking over her shoulder. Life settled into a new, more peaceful rhythm. Emily hosted barbecues again, inviting friends and the supportive neighbors who'd stood by her. The pool, once a symbol of conflict, became what it was always meant to be, a place of joy, laughter, and relaxation. The kids splashed, adults chatted, the smell of grilled food filled the air. It was the picture of suburban bliss she'd originally dreamed of. Karen? She became a ghost in the neighborhood. Rarely seen, never heard from. Her attempts to rally support had backfired spectacularly. The court ruling, the contempt charge, the settlement, it all painted her as unreasonable, malicious, and frankly, a little unhinged. Her power within the HOA was gone, her reputation shredded. About 2 weeks after the settlement, Emily was working in her home office when the doorbell rang. It was Megan, the neighbor who'd posted about the ambulance incident online. Wait, that was the previous story. Let's stick to Emily's pool story. Let's say it was Mrs. Peterson, the elderly neighbor who had found the old zoning map. Emily, dear, Mrs. Peterson began, holding a small, slightly crumpled envelope. Sorry to bother you, but this was stuck in my mailbox this morning. Addressed to you, but, well, just read it. Emily took the envelope. No return address. Inside, a single sheet of paper. Jagged, angry handwriting. You may have won in court, but this isn't over. Some things are worth fighting for. No signature. Chilling. Emily's stomach turned. She immediately called Jessica and the police non-emergency line, reporting the threatening note. The police took a report, filed it under the existing harassment case against Karen, but admitted that without proof she sent it, there wasn't much they could do beyond documenting it. Jessica advised her to keep documenting everything, stay vigilant, and report any further incidents immediately. The note put Emily back on edge. Was Karen really going to start again? The next few days were tense. Emily double-checked her security cameras, kept her doors locked even during the day. Then, one evening, coming home from work, Emily noticed something odd near her back fence, partially hidden by bushes. A small, dark object. Her heart pounded. Was it another device? She called the police before approaching it. The officers arrived quickly. They carefully examined the object. It wasn't explosive, thankfully. It was a dead squirrel, placed deliberately, right where she'd see it. Disturbing. Sickening. Again, no direct proof linking it to Karen, but the timing, the location, it felt like another targeted act of intimidation, a twisted message. The police documented it, but couldn't do much more. Emily felt violated, angry, but also resolute. Karen wasn't going to scare her away. The final confrontation, though Emily didn't know it at the time, happened a week later. Emily was hosting a small weekend get-together by the pool, trying to reclaim the space, determined not to live in fear. Friends, neighbors, kids splashing. Suddenly, Karen appeared at the fence line separating their properties. Not trespassing this time, just standing there, staring. Her face was a mask of cold fury. The festive atmosphere instantly evaporated. People stopped talking, nervously glancing towards Karen. Emily took a deep breath, walked towards the fence. "Karen," she said, keeping her voice calm but firm, "you need to leave. You're making my guests uncomfortable. You know you're not supposed to be near my property line due to the restraining order." Karen just stared, unblinking. Then, slowly, deliberately, she reached down, picked up a rock from her own yard, and threw it over the fence. It landed with a loud splash right in the middle of the pool, narrowly missing one of the children swimming nearby. Chaos erupted. Kids screamed. Adults gasped. Emily felt a surge of protective fury. "That's IT," she yelled. "I'm calling 911. You just violated the restraining order and endangered children." Karen didn't run, just stood there, a strange, almost satisfied smirk playing on her lips as Emily frantically dialed the police, her friends rushing the kids out of the pool. The police arrived within minutes. This time, there was no ambiguity. Multiple witnesses saw Karen throw the rock. It was a clear violation of the restraining order, reckless endangerment. They arrested Karen on the spot. Seeing her finally being placed in handcuffs, her defiance replaced by shock and disbelief, felt like the real end. The legal consequences for Karen were severe this time. Violating the restraining order, combined with the previous harassment and the evidence of the threatening note and the dead squirrel, which, while not definitively proven, added to the pattern, resulted in mandatory counseling, extended probation, and a hefty fine. More importantly, the judge warned her that any further contact or harassment towards Emily would result in immediate jail time. After Karen's arrest and the subsequent legal proceedings, a real sense of peace finally settled over the neighborhood. Karen, facing serious consequences and shunned by the community, finally put her house on the market and moved away. The day the moving truck pulled away felt like a collective exhale for the entire street. Emily slowly began to heal from the ordeal. It took time to shake off the constant anxiety, but the support of her friends and neighbors helped immensely. Her pool became a symbol not of conflict, but of her resilience, her refusal to be bullied out of her own home. She hosted neighborhood gatherings again, bigger and more joyful than before. The laughter echoed, the water sparkled, and the sense of community, tested and ultimately strengthened by the shared experience, felt stronger than ever. Emily knew she'd never forget the nightmare Karen put her through, but she also knew she'd emerged stronger, more determined, and deeply grateful for the peaceful sanctuary she had fought so hard to protect.